Welcome back to our production, where we bring you the latest in crypto, blockchain, anything to do with the new digital infrastructure of our financial system. My name is Louis. Hope you guys enjoy the content. If you do, you know what to do. Now let's get right into these prices before we get into this news I have for you today. Today's going to be a little bit of a slower show. Not too much is coming out. There's always things coming out, but you know how I am. I don't want to pay attention to noise, only signals to help you guys understand the direction that we're going. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. Market cap sitting at 2.19. Bitcoin sitting at 64,000, Ethereum at 1877. We got BNB at 600, XRP at $1.06, TRON at 32 cents. Now, moving on to the first article I have for you guys today. Remember, always do your own research. Articles will be linked down below, all right? Wells Fargo joins JP Morgan and Citi in a race to tokenize Wall Street settlement rails, all right? Next on the list, Circle shares fall 3% despite earnings beat as stablecoin issue misses on revenue. So this is pretty crazy. I think more or less they're putting capital into their new layer 1 blockchain ARC, but we'll take a look at that in a second. BlackRock brings tokenized money market funds to Europe and JP Morgan. So this is kind of similar to what we just went over here, but it's a little bit different. Okay, so this is actually incorporating BlackRock. So yeah, we'll get into it in a second. Stick around. Next on this, do the cold card attacks mean all hardware wallets are now secure? All right. Hopefully you guys answer that question down below, but if not, I'm gonna let you know what it means to me when I just see these signals or these articles alone. Just these articles, it lets me know that they are starting this interoperability. They're starting to work with each other behind closed doors and help it become, I guess, more frictionless, we can say. We speed up things. It's one of those things where this system is very complex, like cryptography, blockchain. It's complex in the terms of getting regulation out and getting all these different parties to work together. The system itself is easy. It's a blockchain, everything is transparent, but when it comes to getting all these countries and banks and institutions and private people to come on to this ledger or to these ledgers or blockchain, that's when it becomes difficult, because you have to understand a lot of these people operated in the dark for so long that bringing their systems onto this system that is transparent and also traceable. Remember that. I think there's a lot of bad actors still out there, but it's neither here nor there. Let's cover this article really quick. Wells Fargo joins JP Morgan and Citi in the race to tokenize Wall Street settlement rails. Okay, and let's go down here. So basically they want to incorporate, just like the rest of these people, like they said, they are in a race. Okay, the race. So what this race is about is round the clock settlement and programmable payments are among the capabilities of banks described as arriving when fully deployed. Wells Fargo plans to expand to more clients, countries, and currencies by 2027. So we have to understand what's kind of happening. They give us a date here, 2027. So we still have some time. I'm not going to say go out there and invest and get into these different projects, but we can see that this date and everything, it keeps getting pushed down a year. When these articles come out, it says 2027, 2029. Those are the key things we need to pay attention to, especially what's happening with our Clarity Act right now. If we don't get nothing signed by Friday, we are going to have to wait. How long? We don't know. Okay, but yeah, it's basically giving people the opportunity to stay on these borderless transactions 24/7, set up their securities and all kinds of tokenized deposits. Okay, everything. You put your house on there in the middle of the night, you can put your car on there in the middle of the night, you can take it off in the middle of the night. It's all up to you. But as I said yesterday, when we were covering the Bitcoin going to 43K, I literally told you guys that these companies and people have been working in these networks since 2017, when we've seen that major crash, and it was just crazy from 126 to I'm not gonna go too far into it. But Wells Fargo has been developing blockchain payment rails since 2019. Okay, And that's even late into the game. Okay, we know how long crypto's been around, but this is even late into the game. But this lets me know that it's still in the infant stages. Okay, what they're building isn't even about 7 to 8 years old, even though it's been around for almost, you know, how long? Okay, moving on. Just pay attention to, like, if you come into this ecosystem thinking it's too late, maybe mass accumulation is too late, but it is not too late to help you get out of the system a little bit. You're not going to be able to accumulate masses of cryptocurrency, but you still have time. It's never too late. Okay, moving on. Circle shares fall 3% despite earnings beat as stablecoin issue misses on the revenue. Shares intentionally jumped 10% but fell 3% in pre-market trading as stablecoin issues revealed institutional adoption for its layer 1 blockchain ARC, but missed on the revenue. So I think they've been moving in this direction to helping their layer 1 become more solidified in this ecosystem. And if you guys want to read more about it, you guys can. I'm not going to read this article and go through it, but the earnings also offered the clearest update on ARC Circle's blockchain network, scheduled to launch its public mainnet on September 16th. So that's a signal, you guys. Understand what's happening on September 16th with Circle and ARC, okay? Circle said more than 100 ecosystems and institutional buildings are developing on ARC. The network's founding validators set includes BlackRock, TCC, ICE, MasterCard, Visa, Standard Chartered. You guys go down the list. But so yeah, keep an eye on the September 16 date. And if you guys want more about them, this is their website right here. So make sure you go check them out, understand what it does. It gives you the little, your multi-chain liquidity and interoperability hub. So it shows you exactly what's happening, and it breaks down what it actually does as a layer 1. All right, moving on. BlackRock brings tokenized money market funds to Europe via JP Morgan. JP Morgan's, excuse me, Kinexys platform will tokenize select BlackRock money market funds shares denominated in pounds, euros, and US dollars. So this is huge when we talk about interoperability and cross-border payments. I don't know about this number right here, 311 billion. If you know anything about the number of distraction and we're not gonna go into that whole gematria stuff right now, but my point with this is, again, these are signals to pay attention to. These companies are working together. Like, I understand the banks have always worked together, but when it comes to like a infrastructure, when have these banks or big people ever worked together like this? You know what I mean? Maybe behind closed doors and getting approvals and slide money this way and that way, but this is all public now to the point where they understand they have to work together. When you have big companies like Ripple that came out and changed the game forever, especially during the lawsuit, then these companies understand if they don't get on top of this technology and start building their own tokenized infrastructure, someone else will come in and take over. So they're starting to work together. They're starting to, you know, we have to understand that no one blockchain is going to get all this money. But when we talk about how much money is in the world, there's enough to go around for all the participating parties if you're doing it right. Level playing field. And I know I hate hearing it myself. You guys probably hate hearing that yourself as well. Level playing field. Like, yeah, we're past that already. This is moving into the future, and you know, you either get with it or you get left behind. All right. Do the cold storage attacks mean all hardware wallets are now insecure? I'm not going to cover this. I really don't care. It's up to you to do your research and understand what you're doing with your money, okay? Don't listen to nobody, including me. But basically, here's a tweet that talks about the the weak random number generation is not a new problem, okay? So as you can see here, all these all these wallets have the same type of hardware and firmware as the wallets that have been being exploited right now. So it talks about the RNG, which is the random number generator. Okay, once it's able to attack that part of this cold storage, then it makes the wallet less random when it comes to creating your keys. Okay, remember, not your keys, not your crypto, and this is a big component of it. If the keys you have are shared with other people because of the RNG, then they're not your keys. All right, moving on. Remember, articles will be down below if you want to read more on this. On to some lighter news. I think this is great. A lot of these articles like today are helping me understand that this is the future. There is no going back. Okay, but MoonPay brings gasless transactions to TRON, simplifying stablecoin payments. MoonPay announced that the integration of TRON network to MoonPay's trade infrastructure enables users to complete transactions on TRON without holding TRON TRX to pay network fees. So I like this because when a blockchain is able to adapt something like this, it lets you know that they are working on that interoperability. But the TRON network is governed by TRON DAO, the community governed DAO dedicated to accelerating the decentralization of the internet through blockchain technology and decentralized applications, DApps. Okay, so traditionally users transactions on TRON were required to maintain a balance of TRX, the native token utility token of TRON network, to cover network fees, even when sending or swapping stablecoins. Through MoonPay's trade infrastructure, gas fees are abstracted and incorporated into the overall transaction, allowing users to transact with just the asset they already hold. So this is huge. There's a couple of other people and networks that do this already, but when you're incorporating MoonPay and what MoonPay does, like if you guys don't know what MoonPay does, go do some research. But this is great. So read article, it's down below. Alrighty, last article I have for you guys for the day is XDC Tech integrates Bridge stablecoin platform to bring on-chain stablecoin settlements to agentic AI commerce. So the main thing to look at here is the agentic AI commerce. So this commerce thing is very important. So we're talking about, like, say you have a small mom and pop shop. Well, someone comes in from out of the country with a different stablecoin or with a different cryptocurrency from a different ledger or blockchain. It doesn't matter what it is. Say this person wants to spend their money using MoonPay, or they have TRON or something else. Okay, but what ends up happening is the agentic AI, which is connected to that company or that mom and pop shop, is able to take any transaction, use whatever method they have, either tap or cash, whatever it is. I'm going to stay digital, forget the cash part, tokenized asset, whatever it might be. What ends up happening is this transaction goes into the AI, okay, and the AI does the parameters or the things you set upon it. So say for instance, you tell your AI, whenever I get a transaction, I want you to put it straight into Bitcoin. Okay, don't give me the asset that they're giving me, put it straight into Bitcoin. And what this AI would do is do that automatically for you without you having to go through the swap itself. And this is one example. There's many of examples that AI and agentic like components can help an organization. But this is great for XDC. Let's read right here. XDC Tech, the US based institutional arm of XDC Network, announced a critical integration with Bridge. So remember, we just had MoonPay working with someone, and now we have XDC working with Bridge. Okay, and these are big companies, they're major companies that deal with payments and transactions and all that stuff. The core use is payments. Okay. Businesses can now accept dollars, euros, and other fiat currencies through Bridge virtual account and receive settlement in stablecoins on XDC in near real time, cutting out correspondent banks and multi-day clearing. So this is important. They do not have to wait for their Visa transactions and pay all that fee and all that stuff. The fee is taken out and it is done virtually in a virtual account seamlessly, okay, in real time, cutting out corresponding banks and multi-day clearing. So that's exactly what it means. And if you guys want to read more about this and how it settles, it talks about the different ways this could help. One, machine speed settlements and autonomous agents, regulated fiat rails. Okay, the AI The AI agent will not work outside of the rails unless you have some rogue agent, but that's not what this is talking about. Virtual accounts and native agent wallets, multi-currency custody for cross-border agent commerce, okay, and agentic trade finance and tokenized real-world assets. So kind of like how I explained, there's number 6 here, and yada yada. So I think this is good. Like I said, when you have a company like Bridge, a Stripe company, merging with XDC, when you have a company like TRON or a blockchain like TRON merging with MoonPay, and I don't mean merging in the point of like them becoming one. I'm talking about the integration of how they work together. Okay, they both have a win-win situation in these partnerships. Okay, Bridge does one thing, XDC does another, MoonPay does one thing, TRON does another. So the interoperability is what makes this network grow. The more interoperability we have, the more the network grows, more liquidity comes on, more tokenized assets, more companies and AI agents come on. Now, I'm not saying this is all a good thing, because we do have to set the guardrails. We do have to make sure this infrastructure is correct. But when it's being built in this way, slow and steady, I have a little bit more hope for it, okay? So remember, articles will be down below. Make sure you guys do your own research. My name is Louis. Remember, if you enjoy the content, you know what to do. I'm out of here. Peace.